They can go to a new location by themselves. You cannot send a unit upgrade to go to a new location by themselves. They have their own health totals. They give experience when they die. That 9th unit needs to be reinforced from the base to wherever you are. That 9th unit may have their own mana pool and ability cooldowns. For example, a 9th destroyer can do another dispel magic. A 9th raider has an ensnare. A 9th druid brings his own rejuvenation and roar mana pool. So sometimes you do want that ninth unit. It has some pros and cons, but there are a lot of specificities that may help you make the choice to add a ninth unit instead of an attack upgrade or an armor upgrade. The same thing is true for adding a ninth unit. The total amount of effective physical health an opponent needs to chew through goes up by 12.5% when you add a ninth grunt. And if you add an armor upgrade, it's the same amount of damage an opponent needs to do to kill those 8 grunts. In situation B, you may be adding an attack upgrade instead of a unit. You go from 8 units and you add an attack upgrade. So this increases your damage output by 12%. You do not yield experience to opponents when you die, when that 9th unit dies, because it doesn't exist, right? You can only give XP 8 times. It does not clutter up the battlefield, it doesn't need to be reinforced in the walking path, doesn't require supply, will apply to all future units as well, and the first upgrade is usually cheaper than the 9th unit you may be thinking of making. So when it comes to specific units like Dryads, I would probably sooner add a 9th Dryad, as I can get more control via their slow poison, I can do more dispel, I can try to overwhelm someone fast with lots of units, and their damage is more agnostic when it comes to attack upgrades because slow poison is a component. So if I'm rushing someone, I'm probably getting a 9th Dryad rather than one attack upgrade for them. But if I am building grunts, I might sooner add a unit armor upgrade rather than a 9th grunt. Grunts are built to die slowly, they're tanky, and I'm often going to be losing quite a bit of them and then replacing them. In a different situation, you might have a unit that may become fodder because they're getting countered, and then no amount of upgrades or unit additions should be chosen to do because they're becoming obsolete, right? If I have 8 grunts and I'm thinking of a 9th grunt or an armor upgrade, I might actually be needing to think about not doing any of that because my opponent has 6 frost worms, right? Doesn't matter if I have 1 armor upgrade or 9th grunt because 6 frost worms will annihilate those grunts, and I need to start thinking of not going grunts anymore and starting to get some bat riders, raiders, or headhunters or wind riders. So we should rather focus on replacing our army composition to increase its quality rather than dumping any more resources into obsolescent units. There's one more caveat. Most RTS games that don't have heroes have an upgrade system for units which comprises the totality of value add to your armies. And that kind of comes back to this Reddit post that we looked at in the start. This guy likes to upgrade his units fully, but why do some players not do this? And it's because of heroes. Heroes are part of the power build, the power growth strategy of Warcraft 3 strategies, of Warcraft 3 power growth, right? Because there are heroes, getting upgrades only affects some of your power, not your heroes. The total value of your total army power that you get from upgrades is reduced. Heroes generally don't enjoy any upgrades made from buildings, yet comprise a large part of the total power level of your forces. Think therefore of upgrades that are not called upgrades as also being upgrades. So we've got all the upgrades that we mentioned at the start, qualitative, numerical upgrades, transformational upgrades, etc. But there are other upgrades that aren't called upgrades, such as, what do you think of a potion of invulnerability for a hero? It is an upgrade because it can temporarily turn your hero invincible, and it makes you have a higher power level when you have it, but it is not a blacksmith upgrade. So whereas in StarCraft someone might be making a zealot attack upgrade, and then they say, okay, cool, I can now 2-shot a Zergling instead of 3-shot a Zergling. An invulnerability potion is also an upgrade that costs 150 resources, which is the same amount of resources Iron Forged swords for human costs. We go to the Iron Forged swords. How much does this cost? 100 gold and 50. That's 150 together. So you can either get Ironforged swords or Potion of Lesser Invulnerability from the Goblin Shop. It's an interesting way in that you have to make, an interesting decision. So as a Warcraft player, you balance out your investments into upgrades across both your units and your heroes. Examples of hero or even unit upgrades that aren't actually called upgrades, but I see them as upgrades, are as follows. Hero experience. Every time your heroes kill units, either creeps or enemy units, you get experience that gets you level ups and that gets you hero abilities. A level 3 Stormbolt compared to a level 2 Stormbolt is also an upgrade in power level. And StarCraft has no analogy for that because StarCraft doesn't have heroes. And this should be weighed in as well. Number 5, hero self-buffing permanent items, such as Ring of Protection, Periapta Fatality, Lightning Shield, Staff of Mastery, Mask of Death, Orb of Darkness. There are so many hero self-buffing permanent items, and there are also upgrades. Number 6, hero army buffing permanent items. Auras, Scourge Bone Chimes, right? Lion Horn of Stormwind, you've got Ancient Django of Endurance, Khadgar's Bong of Brilliance. A lot of different aura items that buff your units via your heroes. Number 7, hero self-consumable items. Tomes, Tome of Agility, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, Healing Scroll, Heal Potion, Mana Potion, Mana Stone, all kinds of consumables, Scroll of the Beast, right? And then number 8, hero unit buffing consumable items. Heal Salve buffs the non-combat regeneration of units. Protection Scroll buffs heroes and units in their armor stat, 12% effective health. Staff of Preservation is buffing your unit's mobility. They can teleport to your main base. And Healing Scroll gives an instant heal to units all around you. 3 of these affect units permanently via direct unit upgrades. The top 3. The other 5 are all untraditional upgrades that do not carry the name upgrades. Therefore, think of Warcraft 3 upgrades and realize only 3 out of 8 are called upgrades, and all of them increase your power level. Let's get to the conclusion and my recommendation on upgrades. So when you're deciding when to get upgrades, which ones to get, and how to go about your general upgrade strategy, you're engaging with a part of the game that is a large and very enjoyable part of figuring out your game plan in any RTS, and Warcraft 3 is no different. The first numerical upgrade is by far the most worth it, as it is the cheapest, represents the largest relative power increase, and also researches the quickest. For special transformational upgrades, try to get upgrades early. Usually this is before your first unit or after your first unit. So I will get 1 Shaman and then Adept Training, so that I have Lightning Shield and I get more mana pool and more mana regen. Or maybe I get 2 Shamans and then I get Adept Training. Or maybe 3 Shamans and then Adept Training. And I may eventually get Master Training. And I would even go Master Training Witch Doctor off the back of 0 Witch Doctors, 1 Witch Doctor, or 2 Witch Doctor.
So one of the things that I would like be my friend is that just don't me or don't shit talk me behind my back and we're good. Like if you can not like me and say it to my face and behind my back, as long as you just like keep the same energy, I'm fine. I think I'm gonna start asking for a little bit more. Like I need somebody who's like willing to defend me. Like if you're in a space and I'm not there and people are shooting me, like I need you to say something. I think that's like, because I do that for people that I'm friends with. That's one thing. And then the second thing is just having people be a little uncomfortable. I have a really hard time making other people uncomfortable, except like in debate spaces. I don't know why. For friends, I guess I have hard times making people feel uncomfortable. If they don't do any of that, that's fine. But I just won't associate as much with those people, which is fine. Oh no, I haven't watched this clip. What is this? Hold on.
Has apparently a wonderful little segment called Review that his community calls when they look at like victims of sexual assault and find ways to poke holes in their arguments. So that's cool. With respect to hostages, the mission team found clear and convincing information that some have been subjected to various forms of conflict-related sexual violence, including sexualized torture and sexualized, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment, and it also has reasonable grounds to believe that such violence may be ongoing. Let's see. The mission team reviewed incidents of alleged sexual violence related to hostages in Gaza. Based on first-hand accounts of released hostages, the mission team reviewed clear and convincing information that sexual violence, sexualized torture, and cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment occurred against some of the women and children during their time in captivity, and has reasonable grounds to believe that this violence may be ongoing. It is first-hand accounts. Okay. Based on first-hand accounts of released...
As opposed to what? Or, I mean, like, these are the best accounts you could get, are first-hand accounts, right? Isn't this what you want? Somebody telling you they got raped or assaulted?
Hostages, there are reasonable grounds to believe that female hostages were also subjected to other forms of sexual violence. That's it. This is the new information that they have. Not that this is the systematic directed by Hamas in the way that the original claims were. Can we read the first-hand accounts? No, they're not. They don't have first-hand accounts. Is this enough? No, this is not enough to indict someone. Of course, it's not enough to indict someone.
Wait, this is not enough to indict somebody? You only need probable cause. What are you talking about? If I go to a cop and I say, that person raped me, I'm pretty sure that's probable cause for an arrest, no? Now you might like gather other evidence or whatever for formal charges. I feel like you can convict on eyewitness testimony alone though. This is considered direct evidence, it's direct testimony. It's kind of funny that he's like, but I don't know. That is not probable cause for an arrest? Really? If I were to go to a police officer and I were to say last night I got raped by this person, what else would you need? Let's look it up. If I accuse someone of, will they be arrested? Or wait, probable cause standard for accusation. It's probable cause for detention. For detention, if you detain somebody for a temporary investigation, the standard for that is, I don't know what that standard is called, but it's very low. I think it's below probable cause. To arrest somebody, I think you need probable cause, right? Oh, reasonable suspicion might be for an arrest. Probable cause is a two-pronged standard. Investigators must demonstrate that it is more likely than not that the individual targeted for arrest actually perpetrated rape or some other type of sexual assault. I wonder what that looks like. Demonstrate. I wonder if eyewitness testimony alone gets you there, or what else would you need? Witness testimony is notoriously unreliable. Big L destiny. I don't know why you're saying big L when nothing you just said contradicted anything that I just said. Witness testimony is direct evidence, and I'm pretty sure there are people that can get convicted literally on witness testimony alone. Nothing that I just said there contradicts anything that you just said. Witness testimony can also be unreliable, that is true, but it is still considered direct evidence for crimes. That's when you witnessed it. Destiny, is your stance on platforming not unreasonable? You can see Hassan as a dishonest influencer, so he won't change his mind and is causing harm to others / you, but you still don't want him banned. I don't think you can ban somebody just for being harmful. That's probably not a good standard, I don't think. Why doesn't Hassan get shit for the white racism is fake stuff when the whole too white for the blacks, too black for the whites thing happens to mixed people? Isn't that a borderline gripper belief? Oh, you don't, colorism and stuff, you don't get anywhere into with progressives. Progressives do like the one drop rule, but they do it like in the exact opposite way that racists do it. Like, it's, yeah, like racists will use the one drop rule to like discredit anybody they can, and leftists or weird people on the left will use like the one drop rule to like, I don't even know how to use this. Like Hassan's like transformation between white and Turkish person, like constantly, or like American or cultural Muslim, or yeah, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird because it's stupid. It's all just like crazy weaponized.
Hassan thinks some swords are okay. What is it? Is this about the cracker?
What is the one drop rule? I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know. I just see it said so much. I think that the one drop, this is my assumption. The one drop rule is that like if you have any black in you whatsoever, you're too black to be considered white. Every person with any amount of black in them is black. One drop of blood, you're black, and then that's enough for like a far right person or us or whatever. but then their movements are also like super multicultural as well. So I don't know.
Hassan thinks some swords are okay. What is this? Is this about the cracker thing? Holy shit.
Context.
So I personally donated 10K because I think it is worthwhile. And if you guys got some extra bread, I would recommend you donate. But I won't throw it on you. You know what I mean? No thanks. And some people are gonna say that. You know what I mean? That's why it's the difference.
This is a cracker cake.
About whether that's
Cracker-ass
worthwhile?
cake. And if you're not against genocide at this point, like, keep your fucking money. Keep your $10,000.
Ludwig donates $10,000 to the cause that she agrees with, and she calls him a cracker. Come on, man. What the fuck are you doing?
You're wrong, Dong Omega, right? He was bad and trying to appeal to everyone and not take a real solid stance, but Frogan should.
Hi, oh hey, what's up? I got limited time because I gotta leave pretty soon because I'm going to the biggest time. But what's up?
No, I just wanted to come and say I fucking saw you got into shit over the weekend.
Oh yeah, you know, I'm just fighting people, but don't worry, I got saved by the cheese balls in the end for my unhinged Twitter rant. So somehow we just made it out. Made it alive. How's your do you like your Keppel's video? I saw you did a big one on her.
Bro, I'm the CEO of transphobia these days, man. The fuck?
Really? I feel like even the trans communities don't like Keppel's anymore. I don't know if it was you or somebody else, but wasn't there a bunch of stuff leaked? Hold on, wait.
That was another transgender activist who did their own analysis into her GoFundMe stuff too, which was a really great thread.
I don't wait, has anything leaked about any of the money that she spent? I don't know how much of this is public or not. About her 100K?
Well, yeah, we've got communications between her internal, I guess, team that does her work, where it's just like, man, if people found out where the this money went, it would just be...
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Jesus.
So that's about what's come out, which, yeah, that's a big concern. And then there was some, like, again, please take these with a grain of salt, because I got these from people in our community, dissidents. So I don't know, because I don't have access to those server messages to refresh myself, but there was also a doxing situation where another creator, Bad Empanada, got doxed. His information just freely being shared around private Discord communication. So it's an all-around pretty shitty look.
Damn. That Bad Empanada guy does need to be an axe, though. He's probably one of the.
Bro, that guy was like, oh, the reaching out I did was one message. I'm like, first off, it's on Instagram, and I'm not gonna have a whole staff on hire to keep messaging you. Yeah. And then it turns into like fucking harassment.
Yeah. That guy legitimately like will dox and like call for people to get like assassinated and shit. He is unhinged and crazy. He's been banned on like 20 different accounts.
Dude, I saw like the criticisms, like, why didn't you reach out to an email? I'm like, I don't even think this guy has any form of like salient contact. Like everything is just a banned account or like some tertiary account or whatever. It's not like you can even reach out to that dude. Yeah. But yeah, I finally got it out of the way. That autistic itch in my head, which had like Keppel's basically taking over, is gone, so I can actually do other stuff that isn't so overly controversial.
Nice.
But it's actually so insane. Like Jen, my wife, she's like, they branded her a neo-Nazi on this one like Reddit board, which is insanity. Yeah, they're like, apparently Muda is like Indian. Indians are the original Aryan, therefore Muda is also a Nazi. I'm like, bro, this is some fucking...
You guys did organized by race probably before the Nazis did, right? That I think was older.
Probably, I guess. Shit. But yeah, no, it was overall interesting dive to go down into. I know that one of the complaints was like, I laundered Destiny in the Kiwi farms, and I'm like, well, first off, I openly condemn what the farms did, but it's such a weird thing having to sit down and explain like facts. Like I felt like what you have to do in like a debate where it's like, yeah, this is a scummy organization, but this is actually the facts of the case. Now, if you don't like those facts, then that's kind of on you versus everyone else, right? Like,
yeah, talk about a test for my moral consistency is defending Kiwi farmers. I really do hate most of the people on there. It's a weird ass, horrible site, but yeah, to say that they're like causing all these people to kill themselves and everything is like probably not true. I think there's like one of these is true maybe at most, and yeah, there's a lot of people just say a lot of dumb shit about whatever.
Yeah. Well, one of the funny things is like when they were like, you were friends with like Null and everything, and I'm like, I had to dig out that Monty clip where I'm like, he actually hates the guy, so this is the actual stance, and I have to like play that back, and I don't know, it was a wild thing. The whole Catboy Ranch stuff, which is weird because there's this like it's like you implied like grooming, I implied like grooming or something, and I'm like, I just said interactions with any minor is wrong, you know, like any kind of charged sexual thing where it's like, if I did that, I would be rightfully destroyed by my peers. And I'm like, I think it really just came down to there needs to be some self-policing and that's pretty much what it comes down to. But
Yeah.
yeah, wild situation. I've learned that Twitter leftist spaces are places that I will never ever want to even. I think that's actually worse than hell, to be honest. There's just no form of rational, intellectual thinking anywhere in there, which is a shame. But what are you gonna do about it, I guess?
Yeah. What's up? What do you want, Tom?
Hi. Sorry to derail. Are you guys done with that little
Yeah, we are.
conversation?
What do you want?
So I've been looking into this Ludwig stuff. I've been doing a video, and everything seems to make sense to me from your perspective, except for one thing.
Hold on, wait, real quick. Where the f are you? Why are you in? Why is you so echoey?
Wait, is it? Hold on.
You might be using the wrong microphone.
Is that better?
Yeah. Okay. What's up?
Okay. All right. So, what can you tell me about Will Neff? Because I noticed you leaked something about Will Neff there, and from my perspective, it didn't really seem necessary to leak that, regardless if he is cheating on his girl or whatever. I just didn't really see the
I just hate
justification.
the Caroline person so much.
You come after me. Fuck you, you little worm. But then you come after my girl. Oh, okay. Alrighty. J. Marianne, thank you so much for the raid. Slime is our strongest warrior. Slime is also, he lives for replying on Twitter. Like, till the day he dies, he will be the reply guy in a way that is so delicious to eat up. Especially when Cutie said she can only handle so much hate and will one day just quit when it's been too much. It's also, here I am being like, I'm not going to talk about it. It's also something where you can measure a person, and this person doesn't need to be measured because we all fucking know, but you can measure a person based on how they use a situation of a woman who was sexually manipulated and her digital likeness used against her consent for sexual purposes, using that as a way to hold one over, as a way to like have an own. You look at something like that and it's like, that's all you have. That's what you have. That's your big comeback here. How does that even work as an own? It doesn't. It doesn't. It's just another indicator of what a lowlife little rat person who would post that is, and someone who just belongs in the deepest, darkest sewers with all the other little rats. Yeah. What did the rats do to deserve him? I know, I mean, there's no animal I can use here that would justify the comparison, that like deserves the comparison. Guess maybe just a dog shit, a tapeworm. Rats are a very neat little guy. You're right. Okay. All right. I take it back. I'm sorry to the rats. I'm sorry. They don't deserve this. Do you and Will ever? No. Anyway, he better watch out because he's getting bitch slapped so hard it's gonna knock him into a third divorce. Harold, thank you for the 20 months. Anywho, all right, we have a lot of important things to cover today, and that to me is not important news. It's just the continuation of someone who whose existence is not justified.
And all these people talk about me so much, and it's annoying, like knowing shit about them. That it's just I hate.
Did Will Neff do that?
Do what? I don't think Will Neff talks
he-
about me much at all. But he was like fairly close friends with Melina, so maybe that's why not. But I don't know. Well, honest to God, it's funny because like going back and everything, honest to God, of all the stuff, because through other parties, I know of Will quite a bit. Will actually seems like an okay guy. I've never heard him do anything like weird or I guess except cheating. But I don't give a that. But yeah, otherwise it doesn't seem like it is weird or crazy shit. So
I guess from my perspective, it just seems weird to leak that when it didn't really seem necessary, I guess.
Oh, no, yeah, I just hate all those people. So, kind of like when you bomb an apartment complex, you get some civilians. Sometimes you just want to watch the people scream.
Fuck.
And I hate that Caroline person.
I feel like that's not really a good justification for that. Come on.
Probably not, no. I just hate the Caroline person. I'm not giving you a job. I'm just telling you why. I'm not saying it was like justified. I just really hate. Somebody said Caroline made fun of my divorce. There you go. Boom.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess at least I got an explanation for that, so I don't have to.
Yeah. There wasn't like a sophisticated plan of like, this blah blah blah. Like, I don't think he's actually ever said anything to me in public. So that's we call those collateral damages. Here.
I'm actually so glad you decided to do that the same weekend I dropped this Keffels video, because it kind of like split the internet attention, where it wasn't entirely focused on that. Like it just kind of came out of nowhere. But I don't know, man. I mean, that whole like Twitch side of the community, it just it seems. I've always said it. It always feels like some high school clique. If you're in it, you're in it. If you're not, then you're always going to be like an observer. And I don't really think there's ever really a reason to keep trying to be friends with people that will never let you in their clique. Like this one crazy chick, Frogan or whatever. Like Bloodwig goes out and gives like I think 10K to Palestinian charity, like a specific charity. And what was the whole complaint there? Like she brings this cracker discourse. Like it's such a weird poison situation.
Frogan person is unironically like an internet terrorist. Like she's just a horrible human being, and her takes on everything are stupid. And she's just a terrible person.
You know what? I don't want to call out this because I'm going to say this because it pisses me off. And being an anti-Semite openly and proudly is now likes on Twitter. Frogan, she tweeted out. She goes, I have a problem with my Zionist therapist. Just call him a f***ing Jew. I'm sorry, but you can't talk like that about any other minority. I had a problem with my Zionist therapist. What'd you talk your Zionist therapist? Did you get those level of details from them? You had an in-depth conversation about the politics of Zionism with your therapist? No, I know what you mean. You fucking Jew.
True.
I'm not gonna sit here and let my people, be openly bigoted and racist. That shit. Nobody would expect that from any other minority. Nobody.
This is her like original take of this, by the way. I just went to therapy this is 4 years ago. I just went to therapy for the first time, and after talking about my dad fleeing the Israeli-Lebanon war, she was like, I'm Israeli, do you have any issues with me being your therapist? Bruh, I was so taken aback. Frogan is constantly propped up by Twitch streamers and Twitch itself, when she only averages 100 concurrent viewers. It just feels like one of those situations where they say it's diversity, but it just feels like nepotism all over again because some woman on the Twitch council really likes Frogan personally, almost for sure. Like, this is disgusting. Exciting news! Twitch has chosen me to be featured as a legendary woman on the front page, together for legendary women front page carousel, not just for March, but for the entire year. Frogan on October 7th. Leftists preach and foam at the mouth at the thought of a revolution happening in America, but as soon as it happens in the Middle East, what they're doing is wrong.
Personally donated 10K because I think it is worthwhile. And if you guys got some extra bread, I would recommend you donate. But I won't throw it on you, you know what I mean? No.
Look at the bottom bar, emergency rent. Jesus Christ.
This is a cracker take.
Yes, this is.
Say that, you know what I mean? That's why it's the
This is a cracker take. This is a cracker take.
Yes, I agree with the second one. It gets better.
I don't need to enter a fucking debate about whether that's worthwhile.
Okay.
Two wrongs don't make it right. He was bad and trying to appeal to everyone and not take a real solid stance, but Frogan should have called him that. No, I don't give a shit about like someone being called a cracker, okay? As someone who is white and as like used that word myself.
Like the Denims, Frogan, Mike.
Bro, I cannot stand denims. Like, she looked at the thumbnail for this Keffels video, and it's like, well, that's just transphobic. And I'm like,
yeah,
all
she is
right.
also a horrible, terrible person. Her, Mike, and Frogan all share like the worst of like how you can be as people. Yeah, and they're all dumb, and they're all like very confident, and they're all like very judgmental, and
Yeah, the whole community can go. But like, anyways, aside from all that, what are you doing up in Vegas, dude?
Just doing a couple
Vegas?
shows. So,
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the Hodge twins. Hopefully they don't kill me, and then we'll come back tomorrow. Or
You going to the Hodge twins?
yeah, we'll see.
Bro, I haven't heard that name in forever. The guy I started my channel out with over a decade ago was like their biggest fan, and they were like different dudes. And like, I literally only saw them like when COVID started. I was like, bro, they're still here and kicking. And then I saw what they were making. I'm like, oh shit, they're in that side of the internet. Insanity, dude.
Yeah.
But anyways, just wanted to type in and say hi. Fucking, keep it up with you. But yeah, man, take care and safe flights to Vegas.
Love you, buddy. Careful. What else do you want, Tom? Anything else?
I guess, is there any other, like big through line for this drama? I guess you said it wasn't like a calculated thing. But do you think like long term what you revealed, I guess, or expose a little bit will have consequences for these people, or do you think they'll be just fine?
No, they'll be just fine.
Okay.
The through line is basically that as Hassan started to get more popular, after he left my community or we split or whatever you want to call that, Hassan is very networking focused. Like, he's very good at like making progressively larger friends and like getting involved in those networks of people. But part of him being involved in those networks, there were two huge parts. One is kind of like the spreading of his political message, which these communities are already receptive to because it's kind of like young Zoomer communities who are very online. So that was a big part of it. And then the second part was like the exclusion of me or anything relating of me to me from these communities, which was very frustrating because that meant that basically any large event now, even when I wasn't banned on Twitch, I'm like never getting invited to. So even though personally I might have a lot of decent relationships with people like Mizkif or really like any of these other big streamers, I'm generally like okay terms with most people, or good terms with a lot of them. Hesfan, yeah, these other people, sort of problem. But as that happened, like those two things happened. So the spread of the crazy political views throughout that whole Twitch community. So now you've got people like, that Caroline Kwan or all these people talking about politics that have no idea what they're talking about.
Quick question.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
What about Jesus Christ?
That's where he's from. Nazareth.
Yeah.
What was the demographics back then?
Please say Palestinians. I'm just kidding. She wouldn't do that. That would be pretty funny though.
That would have been
Year zero.
Just about BC. It would have been a mix of Palestinian. It would have been a mix of Palestinians, Jews. Palestinians, Arabs, Jews, and Christians.
It was a mix of people in this area.
But Palestine.
And that changed over time.
Well, yes, but under.
They got along back then?
Yes. So.
Wasn't it? I don't know my ancient history. Wasn't it the year? Was it 70 BC or AD when like the whole Jewish kingdom fell and Rome like fucked them all up? They were all getting along back then. Is that what we're saying right now, or what? Like.
This is a common misconception. Okay, people think that Muslims, that Arabs and Jews have been feuding for centuries, when in reality.
Wait a minute. How can it be Christians before Jesus?
Well, we're talking about
like earlier. They just knew. They had a good feeling.
We're talking about like Jesus. Are you talking about before, like as Jesus was?
There's no way a baby can be born and all of a sudden there's a religion.
Bro, there's so much weird. I don't even know what the fuck I'm listening to. I don't even know what the fuck I'm listening to right now. I think the most unhinged takes is all repeating stuff that Hassan has said, and then Hassan kind of controls like the social tendrils of these communities, And then as a result of that, a lot of the people in those communities start to they either have weird ideas about me or they repeat them to kind of like be part of the clique that Hassan kind of tries to control. And Ludwig is probably the most guilty of that. And he's just said some wild things about me, like accused me of doxing Hassan, accused me of like my community is like being the fraudulators of like some weird hate, death threats or whatever that wasn't true. Like just like a lot of random like weird like side comments. Yeah. But then all of Ludwig's friends develop that shit, and then it also gets spread. And seeing that slime dipshit start talking about me, like on, I didn't even care about the comment on the show. Like I saw it, I don't think I sent it or whatever. And then I saw him talking about me on Reddit, and I was like, okay, that's weird, whatever. But then he made the Twitter thread, so then I responded with the like, really, did this need a whole Twitter thread? And then he instantly goes into the cuck jokes. Like at that point, my brain is just broken. It was like, okay, well, all of these people, let's just start like bombing everybody. That was basically my mind.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I've kind of hated about Ludwig that it kind of took me a while to realize because I just never really watched his stuff for a while. I started watching him on stream, and I just noticed that I feel like there's nothing wrong with being impartial in videos if you're doing commentary stuff, but there's nothing wrong with being kind of impartial. But I think the problem is that he's truly not impartial. He aims to be. His public-facing thing is that he is, and he's like kind of a fence-sitter guy. But then he'll also like take Hassan's side and kind of protect like certain people that he likes, and he'll step outside of that to make weird comments. So that breaks his journalistic integrity, right? As a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So I hate that, and I also hate the moral effing about stuff like making fun of certain things, making fun of whether you wife or whatever. When they are willing to throw pot shots at people, as long as it's the most socially acceptable people to go after, right? And you have the communities who are like, our destiny went too far. When people like Hassan have gone too far, hundreds, who knows how many times, not just against you, but like laughing at cops dying.
Yep.
The whole, the thing about like laughing at Kyle Rittenhouse crying on the stand, stuff like that, or laughing about cops. Are you okay? It's like innocent.
Questioning the accounts that they come from people they don't agree with and all that. Yeah, that's my, like, I don't think I would ever get upset at like Nick Fuentes' community for calling me a cuck or like making fun of my work because like, okay, yeah, you guys are, I know where you guys are, of course. But then when I see these people who, will F or whatever over like every little itty bitty thing, but like when it's the right target, they can go unhinged. It's like, that thing is.
But yeah, it's definitely another part of it that's like harder to articulate from like I guess like a woman's perspective, like Kevin's perspective is just like the appeal to like content creation to me has always been like that it's not mainstream, it's not like all that kind of cringe shit goes on in Hollywood. And then now the state of Twitch is like there's 10 Jimmy Kimmels basically who are running the website and are the most popular people, and they literally created their own award show for it where they just jerk each other off. And not to get transphobic here, but the fucking up and coming featured creator was Dylan Mulvaney, who was somebody who's not really a creator. It was just like fucking bolstered by the powers that be. I literally astroturfed into fame, and now nobody's ever even fucking heard of Dylan Mulvaney.
One of the funniest things is that for that Frogan girl, she won the Rising Star, like up and coming star, 2 years in a row. Like she was never up and coming, and she never up and came. Like, she was
but like how many fucking years she even have? She's not like a famous person.
You're either a star or you're not. You know what I mean? Like what? I feel like this award should be like. A falling star award, bro, that'd be so funny. I would clear.
Honestly, okay, it makes me really upset. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to cry, but it really does make me really upset.
No, she's not. She's a Hassan mod, literally. That's it.
Yeah, but once again, this is like, it's like Hollywood. It's just about who you know. It's about who you're friends with, which is why I've always hated that kind of group of people. Not that they're all necessarily even like terrible people on their own, but just in the position they're in, they act very silly with their audience, I think. And I generally don't like that. And the thing about Ludwig is I do like some of the things he's done. Like, he is like a pretty impressively business-minded person. Yep. You know, he's built a bunch of cool brands. He's built off-brand, which I don't think is making a lot of money. I think he talked about that in Colin and Samir. I think they brought in like 12 million and spent 10 million on it, so they made 2, but then they have to pay everyone.
Yeah,
so.
and he supported
but
like
I still
game
think it's
scenes
cool
and like
that he did.
tournaments with like prize purses, like he donates. Like, yeah, it seems like
Yeah, like all that shit is really cool, but then it's just like you throw this one friend into the mix who has hatred for you, and then it seems to kind of question their integrity as a whole. And ultimately, I think it's like if you want to watch Ludwig's content, I think that's fine, but you just shouldn't see him as like a particularly good or honest person. Another thing I really hate that he makes comments like this. Maybe I'm just a genuinely bad person or something. Maybe I'm a fucking asshole. When he makes comments like, "I don't hate anyone. I hope everybody does well in life. Hope everybody succeeds." Like, nobody actually thinks that way. Obviously, like, it's nice to say that sometimes. You know, sometimes in your best moments you'll have a boogie moment. You'll be like, "I love everyone." But generally, like, somebody fucks you over. There's somebody you don't like. You're gonna be preying on their downfall a little bit. You're gonna be like, right? It's human nature. So I just don't like the idea that it's just like a very fake positivity. Once again, like Jimmy's kind of like, "Oh, I love everyone. Hope everyone does well." And I think it's
an aesthetic.
Right now.
It's an aesthetic, right? Yeah, it's like the liking everybody or being nice to everybody. Like if you actually did that, that'd be fine. Like I said, like my issue is only like I don't care if any of these people like me. Just don't talk about me. But then when you greenlight these like weird attacks on me, and then you're like, "Oh, well, we love everybody," like, then why not tell people not to like shit on me or make random jokes about me, right? Like where were you when that guy on your show was like spam posting that black chick getting railed on Twitter? Like where was your love for everybody then, right? It only comes out when they want a virtue signal. To their audiences and all, but whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I want to talk about. Take it easy, buddy.
All right, everybody. How is it? I get like every fucking celeb in my Discord on the day where I'm only streaming for only bad when Frozen does it. What is this? Hi, what do you want? I've got to leave soon, so unless you've got something super relevant to talk about, what's up? Okay, be careful. Only bad when Frozen does it.
No! I even... Wait, the guy said that about me 50 times. I can say that.
It's so odd. It's so strange, bro, that a 40-year-old man with a child, 2 divorces under his belt, openly saying the N-word, and it's 65% upvoted. And I might be mistaken, but I did not hear Asmongold's subreddit up in arms over it.
I'll say this a million times, but maybe people don't understand, or maybe Hassan, I truly can't tell if he doesn't understand, or if he's just so blinded by like the clout and the hate. Okay, I don't think I've ever in my life, even when I was the most edgy, you can go dig back, there are clips of me talking about slurs like 12, 13, 14 years ago. I don't think I have ever defended calling somebody a slur. I don't understand how that is so f***ing hard to understand. There's a huge difference between saying a slur, saying nigga, versus like calling somebody the N-word. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's such like, it's an obvious, like, does anybody have to even, it's like, it's so painfully obvious that to pretend it's like, wow, people were mad at Frogan because she called Ludwig a racial slur, but then here's Destiny just saying the word, like, wow, how hypocritical. No. That would be like saying, I can't believe people are mad at this guy. People are pretending to be mad at Rittenhouse because he shot and killed a person, but people weren't mad when this guy went to the range. Rittenhouse only fired, 5 shots. This guy went to the range and he unloaded 1,000 rounds across all these different targets. He was there for hours. Why isn't anybody mad at him for shooting a gun, but they were mad at Rittenhouse shooting a gun? Well, because he shot it at somebody. Fucking retard. Jesus Christ. It's like such an obviously different thing. Like, why is nobody mad at this? Because I'm not calling anybody the N-word, you retard.
I did not hear Asmongold shitting on this behavior, and I'm sure he would be against this kind of thing, for the record. Okay? I didn't actually see XUC up in arms about... What?
Saying a slur versus calling someone a slur. These are these... Oh, good job, yeah. They don't consider Cracker a slur at Destiny, and he smuggled in that she's white passing, so it's more okay. Why? Why does that make anything okay? Like, okay. Objects are at a whole different level now. All that matters is the instant emotions and the gotchas, even with multiplayer. Do we have a name for the insult stacking that Hassan does all the time? Instead of just addressing what was said, just bring your divorces, plus your child, plus 5 other negative things, we're just, I mean, it's just... This is insulting someone. Oh, go on this way.
I be a victim when I say that I don't like getting jumped between what I got. school and thinks reversionism is real. Here's definitely. The man thinks reversionism is simply meaning words that you're doing. And guys, decided to figure out goals to do. The meaning words are going to. Someone was going to racism. My brother is up the fucking rock there, bro. This would make a dope rap album. What is that? But that's it. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? But that's just wasted. Bro. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Bro, this Discord is off the fucking rockers. Guys, what the fuck is reverse? Guys, what is reverse racism?
True. It's technically just racism, right? Those logs were crazy. Are those posted in my... Oh, yeah. No, wait, this isn't it. This is a clinic as to how easily people can manipulate Reddit. Divorcelli/XQC Juicer comes into Discord, makes up a story about being a white guy who was beat up for being white in high school. I try to explain him the difference in systemic racism and him being bullied in high school. Everyone in Asmat, that's not why people were mad though. Like, he can't even summarize an event that happened hours earlier where his own logs are floating around publicly. This isn't why people are mad. If you just say like, hey, I understand your individual experiences, but like there's a difference between that. That wasn't what happened though. Show, okay, where are the logs? We can just read them on stream. They're unhinged. Tony, I think we need a better slur against white people because cracker doesn't hit hard enough. Damn, so I guess me growing up in my shitty poor neighborhood / family and experiencing people with me for being white for 10 plus years and getting jumped multiple times means nothing. Great. Hassan says anti-white racism is entirely victimhood seeking. It's like Zionists crying that people are mad at them for defending Israel's actions. It's perceived victimhood. No different than complaining that you were slighted at a gay bar for being a heterosexual. This is not... I just tried to explain to him the difference in systemic racism and him being bullied in high school. That summary is not even remotely reflective of reality. Like, holy shit, how dishonest you have to be. Have you ever been to an Asian country? If you don't think you can be racist towards white people, then you're mistaken. Oh, because in response to, you can't be racist to white people. Hassan said, brother said, I traveled to experience anti-white racism and doesn't recognize the privilege in that sentiment. First of all, privilege for traveling really depends on where you're from. I don't know if Hassan doesn't recognize, to say that traveling is privileged is a very American take. Because like if you're European, traveling to other countries, or if you're Asian, depending on where you live, traveling to other countries is not as anywhere near big a deal as it is in the United States. In the United States, traveling to another country might be $1,000 worth of hotel and flight or more. In Europe, it might be like a $15 plane or train ticket. Like it just depends on where you're at. This is such a stupidly American statement to say. Yeah. I lived in this majority black city and they were racist to me for being white. Yeah, sure, bro. I also love this take that like black people or people of color are impossible, can never be racist. It's like, oh yeah? You went to a place with all brown people and you're telling me there was still racism? Bullshit. Next you're gonna tell me they didn't eliminate poverty either. Come on, bro. We all know that people of color are perfect and it's only white people that are the source of all ill in the world. Isn't that what Yakub said when he created them? Like, this is such an unhinged take. Am I just being a stupid victim when I say that I don't like getting jumped for being a white 14-year-old in my high school? I got shit for the color of my skin almost every day. Dude got bullied in high school and thinks reverse racism is real. Can't make this up. My man thinks racial discrimination is simply mean words that hurts my feelings. That's not even what he said. He said getting jumped. But also, I'm sorry, do we not believe in microaggressions or like racial slurs anymore? Is that not a thing, or they don't matter anymore? And not an entire system designed to keep a whole ass group subjugated, and the mean words are secondary to this perceived grievance. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of racism and the way we conceptualize it. And it's funny because he doesn't even understand when we talk about like systemic racism or when we talk about like structural racism. It doesn't have to be designed to keep a whole ass group subjugated. It can happen as a byproduct of the design as well, right? This is one of the things that makes systemic racism so hard, or systemic sexism so hard to like tease out, is that it's not always a system that's designed just to oppress a person or oppress a certain group. Like it could do that as a byproduct of other things that aren't being taken into account, right? You can have like a racist system without a single racist actor involved. That's what makes it so like insidious and difficult to, I guess, like tear apart. Yeah. Am I just being a stupid victim? This would make a dope rap album, fam. My biggest fear as a white person is being discriminated against. People said mean words to me or robbed me. I was much richer compared to the tourist area I was in. Or compared to the tourist area I was in. No one talks about this. Literally, white genocide 1984, Orwell was right. This kind of person should be, no, I don't know, they shouldn't be permanent. But like, you understand, just to be clear what this guy is saying is that like, if you're a wealthy person and you go into an area with less wealthy people, they have a right to rob you, by the way. Like, that's essentially what this person is saying, right? Where is Hassan? Does anybody have the clip for Hassan talking about how, like, at least, like, if girls are getting at wealthier colleges, at least it's a little bit better? Doesn't we have that clip? How big an issue do you think gun control is? I feel like if Dems were more pro-2A, they could pull a lot of stuff from out of it. I don't think gun control is a big issue. Or, like, I think people make it a bigger issue than it actually is. I think Dems should just drop gun control. I don't think it's, you know. I guess this is congruent with Hassan, like, saying that, like, yeah.
They were at least Patrick Henry College is like doing one good thing, which is that like if you have these millionaire, billionaire, WASP fail sons, at least taking them out of other colleges so they can only do date to other billionaire, millionaire failed daughters is like, in some respects, you know, from a utilitarian perspective, of course, a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like taking these guys and putting them in a pen with one another is ultimately getting them away from the broader society.
That's such a wild fucking thing. So I guess it's like, yeah, it makes sense. Wealthy people should get wealthy girls should get, then I guess wealthy people should get robbed if they're in less wealthy cities, I guess. But yeah. You definitely did something to deserve getting jumped. No one just gets randomly jumped. As you get banned for being 14, rethink your interactions. Yeah, nobody would ever get randomly robbed in a place before. No shot. You must have done something. You must have provoked something to do that, right? You must have said something to, yeah, like, Jesus. Hassan's Discord is wild. It's like unhinged. To be fair, everything is privileged to Hassan, son of a multi-billion-dollar financial conglomerate vice president, University of Miami attendee, Rutgers transfer cum laude graduate, to web series host on Uncle Cheng's multi-channel news network, to the first multi-millionaire Twitch streamer of Marxist Porsche socialism. True. Can white people experience racism in the U.S.? In school, we were taught racism means power plus prejudice. When you're talking about like structural or systemic racism, it does. But to say that, like, I think on an individual level, everybody knows what racism looks like. Calling somebody a racial slur is probably always racist, even if somebody has more or less power than the other person. How does Hassan reconcile when he says, with the fact that over 50% of his audience are jobless trust fund babies? I don't know. I never viewed themselves that way. The reason why the Capri Sun Poppy, is this a Vosh viewer or a Hassan viewer? I forgot. I've seen this name before. The reason why the Ludwig Agran, I don't know how to pronounce it, clip is unsettling. It's not because he didn't donate enough money or didn't do the watermelon charity stream. It's the last part. He didn't join the charity stream was so he didn't upset those who have mixed feelings about it, Zionists in his community. He capitulated to the Zionists, and that sucks because I know he stands with us. It comes across like fence sitting. I don't think he intended to do that, but it's damaging for the movement. Destiny, it's Dominic's brother. You debated his brother with the PhD dude weeks ago. Oh, this is Dominic's brother? Oh, I didn't know that. Crazy. Damn, Acid Communist has my alt account blocked.
From the Gaza Strip.
Oh, and it's so quiet.
Anything short of that is a non-starter for the Israeli war cabinet. Possibly can. From the Gaza Strip. Anything short of that is a non-starter for the Israeli war cabinet. Bullshit. We Ethiopians are also proud of Israel. May victory be for the Holy Land of Israel. Amen. Yeah, dude. Hey, as an Ethiopian, good luck in Israel, okay? They're gonna cut off your fucking ovaries, as they have done to the Ethiopian Jews in Israel, as regular practice.
Sounds talking about the Discord cracker thing right now. At this point, do you think Hassan and Jank are anti-Semitic? I don't think so, but it's like indistinguishable from. I feel like some of the anti-Zionist stuff is indistinguishable from anti-Semitic.
Yeah, I'm running it now.
Oh, it has. Thank God.
Also, the other reason why people are extra mad about Frogan who is like white passing herself,
white passing,
half fully white, calling another full white person and their activities to be one born out of privilege and a privileged blind spot, saying it's cracker behavior. The reason why that is considered completely and utterly unpermissible is because she wears a hijab. Because no matter how white your skin is personally, you will have your whiteness status revoked by other people who don't consider you to be a part of the in-group. But if you want to understand how laughable...
It's so sad because, like, somebody... There's some guy that hates me right now is making a clip where I said that, like, Hassan typically doesn't play the id poll stuff, the identity politics stuff as much on stream anymore because he's, like, leaned hardcore into the tanky shit. I guess he does borrow from it, though, when it's convenient. Like, Jesus, that's so cringe. We're on some hardcore id poll shit right now to pull, to pull this out of the hat.
In a marketing initiative, could crack jokes about it. Think about how fucking polite these guys have to be professionally. That's why it is unimaginably idiotic. And that happened 2 years ago, 2 whole years ago. And yet there are still newcomers to the conversation trying to champion the cause. This is what I try to explain to people to hopefully shake some sense into them. Wheaton sent me a cracker pass, if you guys remember. Like they had a marketable moment, like a brand moment, making fun. If they were to do that for any real slur, they would understandably get destroyed.
What? Does he think this is like proving his point? This like weird appeal to popularity? Yeah, you can shit on white people. Yeah, no doubt. Everybody knows that. If I were to call like a black person an Uncle Tom, and then Oreo were to like reach out to that guy like, hey, we can send you a pack of Oreos if you want. Like, do you think people would accept that? Probably not. Does that make like, what is the argument here? That like, since another company made this joke along with me, it's okay, but they wouldn't make the same joke for like, what are we talking about? Like, it's such an, I feel like I don't really know what shit. It's such a dumb, like, also the irony of like Tanky Hassan using corporate appeal for the validation here when they talk about rainbow capitalism and shit all the time. But I guess when the corporations are supporting you, it's like the most important thing in the world. My God. Hey, my N-word, can you explain why Hassan purchasing expensive clothes and cars contradicts his socialist beliefs? Thanks, dude. I don't think that having that stuff necessarily contradicts it. I think the contradiction is if you believe that capitalism is an inherently evil system, one, it feels weird that you would maximize your existence in a capitalist system as a hyper-consumerist, which he is. Like, it seems strange to believe that a person that wants to advocate for socialism or communism or these kind of like more collective responsibilities is also like a hyper-consumerist, because that's a pretty unique thing that only ultra-capitalism can deliver. So that feels weird. It's not necessarily bad, it just seems a little off. The bad part is that like, well, if you feel like capitalism is immoral, then the fact that none of your businesses are structured in an anti-capitalist way, and you're not like putting significant time into fighting capitalism when you've got the resources, time, and ability to do so, now that just makes it seem like you don't believe that. It's a grift. Like you're not bought into that idea. Like if somebody says that like, oh yeah, like I'm anti-capitalist, but you're a hyper-consumerist, which is something only capitalism can deliver, and then you don't structure your businesses or devote a significant amount of time, given the capability and reasons you have, into pursuing like socialist means, then it feels like it's not that important at all. It's like super, especially when the defenses that you use for why you do the things you do are just defenses for poor people. Like there's no ethical consumption under capitalism is something that you would say to a guy that makes $35,000 a year who can't afford anything else. It's not something you would say to a millionaire taking a private jet in his $2,000 outfit to Coachella, right? But yeah, well, I love you guys. Be careful. I'll be back on 17th. I should be streaming Clip Community on Twitter. It's honestly probably the best thing to do for that. You guys have made some baller ass clips.
And then, out of nowhere, then out of the blue, my name gets brought up.
Destiny.
Not a big way.
I always wondered how much views you'd get if you were ugly. But then I watched Destiny stream.
That's an easy copy paste to Reddit roast. Whatever.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Just my name getting brought up.
Guys.
But, you know.
So guys, chat, I could pull the ripcord, chat. I could pull it.
Guys, if you want to support this event, this costs a shit ton of money, but it can all be paid back.
Chat, guys, I'm gonna pull it. Chat, I'm gonna pull it. Chat, I'm gonna pull ripcord, chat.
Thing.
I'm gonna be reimbursed for the runs. Stream.
Yeah, you can reimburse.
When it comes time to take a side, you gotta reimburse every streamer, however much it costs them.
Okay, don't even say.
Nobody doesn't take stances.
Did you see there's an LSF post already? People are very mad at me.
About what? Nobody will be like, yeah, guys, I'm on every side possible. Why are they mad at you?
Don't worry about it. We'll get
Are they actually
so mad?
He took down a story.
See what this fucking.
What is the hard job on her? Because Hassan said that he was going to stop kicking his ass if he actually left up a video where he made like a 2-second clip where he joked about something that Hassan had said about streamer privilege.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you in the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
Now, as you can imagine, this clip went mega viral.
And Hassan was so unbelievably sensitive.
But I wanted to talk about this as a streamer myself for almost 6 years now on how hard it really is. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Bye.